Multiplying fractions. In the previous lesson, we learned how to multiply a fraction and a whole number. And in this lesson, we're gonna learn how to multiply two fractions together. And to show how to do this, I'll just show you an example. So 2/3 times 1/5. And to show this example, I want to use a model. So let's say we draw this rectangle. And we call this a whole. If this is one whole, I want to show what 2/3 of 1/5, or 2/3 times 1/5. So if I cut this rectangle into 5 pieces. Okay, so here's fifths. And then I cut each of those fifths into 3 pieces. So it'd be like that. So each of those fifths into 3 pieces. And then I want to show what 2/3 of 1/5 is. Well, what does 1/5 look like? So this whole thing is a whole. This whole thing is one whole. And 1/5 would be 3 of these boxes, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each 3 of these boxes would be 1/5. So you have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Okay, so this is 1/5. Now I want to show what 2/3 of 1/5 is. So I have my 1/5, and I've already cut it up into thirds. And to show what 2/3 would be, all I would have to do is take 2 of those. So 2 of those, 1 and 2. Now, if I want to write that as a fraction, I'm going to write that as two boxes. And then how many boxes do I have total for the whole? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 2/3 of 1/5 is actually 2/15. And that's showing you with this picture. But there's an easier way to do it without using a model like this, and that is simply to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So you can multiply straight across. And we can show that as this. 2/3 times 1/5 equals 2 times 1 over 3 times 5, which equals 2 over, well, 3 times 5 is 15. And that's your answer. And you'll get the same answer as if you draw a picture like this. So let's do another one. Let's do 2/3 times 2/5. So 2/3 times 2/5. 2/3 times 2/5. Well, all we need to do is multiply the numerators and the denominators. So 2 times 2 over 3 times 5. And we get 4 over 15. And at this point, we would see if we could simplify it at all. And in this case, we can't. So that's going to be our answer. And if we could use the same model for this one, if we want 2/3 of 2/5, well, 2/5 would be 2/5 would be like this. You have 2/5, and then I want 2/3 of those 2/5. So 2/3 of 2/5. Well, 2/3 of the first fifth would be like that. And then 2/3 of the second fifth would be like that. So you would have 4 out of 15 pieces total. And that's what we got for the answer, 4/15. And that's why it works when you just multiply the numerators and the denominators. Okay, another example could be Well, let's say we use some algebra. Let's say we have 1/3 n, and the question says that n equals 2/7, and it says evaluate. It says evaluate when n equals 2/7. Well, to evaluate this, you're just going to rewrite the equation, or not the equation, but you'll rewrite using 2/7 for n. So instead of 1/3 times n, you'll write 1/3 times 2/7. And then all you have to do is multiply the numerators, so 1 times 2, and put that over the denominators, and you multiply those. So 3 times 7. So you get 1 times 2, which is 2, over 3 times 7, which is 21. And I think that should help you. Sometimes it's more beneficial to simplify before you multiply. And in this case, well, with this problem, you can't simplify, so we're done at that point. But sometimes you will be able to simplify, and it's actually easier to simplify before you multiply. So let's show you how to do that. Let's say we have a problem like 1/4 times 8/15. Okay, normally we would multiply straight across, and you would get 1 times 8, which is 8, and 4 times 15, which is 60. And then you would simplify, and you could divide the top and the bottom by 2 and get 4 over 30, and then divide the top and the bottom by 2 again and get 2 over 15, and you'd be done. But if we want to simplify before we multiply, we can see that 1 times 8 over 4 times 15 can be simplified. If you divide the 8 by a 2 and you divide the 4 by a 2, so when you divide the 8 by a 2, you get 4, and divide the 4 by 2, you get 2. And then you can do it again and say 4 divided by 2, well, that's 2, and then 2 divided by 2, well, that's 1. And you'll get the same answer, 2 over 15. Or you could have just seen that right away, that you could divide both by 4. So if we divide the 8 by a 4, well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now you have 1 times 2, which is 2, and 1 times 15, which is 15. And that's how you would do a problem like that. Now let's show one more of those where you simplify before you multiply. So if we had 2/3 times 6, let's say 6/7. So you would rewrite that as 2 times 6 over 3 times 7. And now you can see that the 6 and the 3 term can both be divided by 3. So we can simplify it and say 6 divided by 3 is just 2, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And now we can do our multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 7 is 7. And that'll be our answer, 4/7. Okay, and this will be useful too when you have more than 2 fractions, and we'll look at some more examples in the next video.